Hey all, so I wanted to share with you a little bit of what is going on in this disastrous office of mine that is intimidating and tiring, but also kind of fun and exciting. And that is that I am returning to, theoretically and gradually, returning to selling more than clothing online. Pretty much because reselling is getting hard because yes, there's more competition and also there's a lot less money, discretionary money to go around. And I'm hoping that diversifying will just pull a little more of that money in. Obviously, if I'm selling more types of things that more people need, it just makes my potential buyer pool a little bit bigger. The issue is I ended up niching down to 95% clothing and occasionally shoes and bags, adjacent things. Kind of by default because it was the thing, at least women's clothing, was the thing that I knew best in terms of its value, even though I am very, very far from a fashionista myself. Fashionista. But it just, I look for clothes, I purchase clothes, I buy clothes. It's obviously it's not a very heavy lift to learn more about that arena. And it's one of the easiest things to find, of course, right? There's, the bulk of a lot of thrift stores are made up of clothing. Obviously not all of it worth picking up, but it's just so readily available. And I don't have a ton of storage space. So streamlining the way that I store things and the materials that I need to package things and all of that was very helpful. Part of the reason my office is such a disaster right now is that I have all of this other stuff and I haven't entirely figured out what to do. I haven't finished processing it and I haven't entirely figured out what to do with it. I'm really going to need to rework some things, but I think it's going to be worth it. I'm not planning on selling. I'm not going to go crazy with the hard goods, but I'm going to be more actively looking for things worth picking up and picking up more, trying to focus on very small things. I don't want to be dealing with shipping huge things, or as much as I can avoid it, super breakable things. I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible while giving myself some more earning opportunities. So I wanted to show you some of the things that I've picked up so far and kind of tell you a little bit about how it's going and how I need it to go and what I need to learn, and also kind of see if you guys have suggestions or good YouTubers for me to follow. I sell, FYI, on Poshmark, Mercari, eBay, Depop. I'm open to trying Marketplace again. I'm open to trying Etsy again for some vintage. Vinted and Vestair I've been selling on. Obviously not 100% all the same things on all of those platforms. But just if that helps. I'm kind of trying to see if I can get into books. So I did start a Pango Books account too. So basically the situation currently that does lead into this is that I only have so much time and bandwidth to stand around comping things, right? The learning process, I'm kind of trying to do it more gradually and more easily on myself than I necessarily did initially. Cause I like I said, I only have so much energy and so much time. And all of these categories of things are going to be a huge learning curve for me in terms of learning what specific items are worth picking up, what to look for, how to start to get a feel for what to pick up so I don't have to comp every single item. Is all nearly brand new to me. I've been reselling for about 5 years and I niched down to 95% clothing 3 years ago, at least 3 years ago, I want to say. So when I was selling other things as well, I was still pretty new. I've learned a lot and gotten a lot better and a lot more efficient, at least with clothing in that time. But I don't know the other categories very well. So thus far, I've really only been picking up things that are free or like maybe up to $3, so that if I only make $10 on it, I'm still making money back. If it's really not worth selling at all, it's, I'll still make money on, all told. I'll make more than my money back by selling the things that are worth selling. But obviously, I need to get to a point where I'm not spending, there's a limit to that. If I'm spending $1 a piece and I'm buying hundreds of items that I end up just redonating, that doesn't math. But I'm starting with the really inexpensive things so that I can kind of try and comp where I do have the time. Sometimes just pick up things that I think are cool and I just want to bring home and learn about, and going easy on myself and starting that way. So, okay, let's turn the camera around and go over some of the things that I've picked up. All right, again, I need to ask you to excuse the state of my office. This has been just full disclosure. There's been a lot of overwhelm and some depression, and a lot of anxiety has been part of making this beautiful disaster happen, but also some of it is just this transitional period, because I have a flow for clothing and not so much for a lot of this other stuff. And some of these storage items are where some of these things are going to go. I've begun the organizational process, but I have only begun it. That's what's going on there. So I have some books. I have I believe just these 4 books that, sorry, upside down, that look like they are, I believe these are the ones, now I'm going to have to recomp, but that looked like they were worth putting on eBay. Then I have a couple bags of books. I think that one of them no, this is worth literally nothing. Or they're new things that I haven't comped yet at all. I'm not 100% sure. I just have to get back in there and find out. Just showing you a few, just in case anybody has any insight on any of them or is interested in any of them. And then the rest I have to put on Pango books. I picked up this. The rest of these are things that I already had, and I'm just going to start putting either purses or other hard goods in here. And then I have crates for books / other hard goods. We will see. But I picked up the thing of CDRs. One of the things that I am really daunted by is I got, this box was free, which is why I was like, oh, yeah, sure. I've heard that vintage fabrics can be good. And then I got them home and started trying to look them up. And I was like, there doesn't actually look like there's a ton of potential in these. I figure I will probably put them on Etsy as well as eBay, but there are some pretty unexciting fabrics in here, but there's some really cool fabrics. These are more, tapestry, tablecloth, thick fabrics. This is almost like a muslin, this crinkly situation. Got some floral lace, this like quilted fabric, and this really, really cool embroidered fabric. There's also somewhere in there, there's a cute eyelet fabric, but there's very little of it. I couldn't find any like maker's marks or anything on any of these. They're all different sizes. One of them even has a little like a shape cut out. So the process of pricing them as well as deciding how to list them, if I list them all together, if I list them separately, and even just like measuring them all, is currently a little daunting to me, but I will get there. But that's one of the areas that if you have any insight, I would like really appreciate. I picked up these little Yeti stash cans that turns out, are like saleable, but not worth a ton. And that's cool. That's fine. It's kind of where I expect to begin. You know what I mean? I will find some things that are not great, but like, okay, if I throw this up, I will get a little bit of money. This book, The ones that have sold are in similarly not great condition. So I will probably get $15 to $25 on this, believe it or not. I mean, the sell-through isn't spectacular, so it'll take a minute. That's okay. I really should have opened these bags before I started filming. Sorry. So, oh yeah. I picked up 5 bags of these various hotel minis. I cannot get it to focus. Various hotel minis of like lotions and potions. Similarly, these to a lot of the other stuff, these have turned out to, it's turned out to be the case that like there's some stuff in there that is worth selling. I'm obviously not going to get a ton, but they were definitely worth picking up. I think I can probably actually make like $30 off the stuff in there that I can sell, and I paid $1 a bag. I got these Clinique lipsticks. None of them are like anything crazy spectacular, although this one that I also can't get to focus, but it is a pop. It's Bear. It's Pop O2 Bear. They are all new, unused. $1 a piece. This one sells for like 20 bucks. The others are less, anywhere from like probably 7 to 12, but you know, worth it, right? For $1 a piece. Also have to decide if I sell these individually or as a lot. They are all different colors. So would also appreciate any insight on that. These are like, I'm just omitting clothing and shoes and stuff that I have sold previous, you know, that I've been selling. Sorry. So I have actually for quite a while wanted to get more into cosmetics and perfumes and stuff. It's just really, really, really hard to find them for prices that make them worth picking up to resell. This is an Estee Lauder mini perfume set. Perfume Treasures, that's called. Vintage, obviously. I kind of Google lensed it, and it looked like these in particular potentially sold for a lot of money. And then, of course, I got home and was like, oh, no, not really. The full-size ones do. That is a very expensive, very sought-after perfume. But this box will probably sell for $30 to $35, which is fine. I will make plenty of money on it. It's just a little bit disappointing. And then I got a bunch of Canon, you know, printer inks. These, because they're not in a box, I could not find an expiration date on. And this was at a garage sale, and the guy did not know how long he had them. So I will probably just list them that way, probably as a lot, or maybe as smaller lots of individual colors, and just disclose that I do not know how old they are. The guy was like, I mean, I've stored them the same way that I've stored everything else, that I've stored the ones I've had previously, and I've never had an issue. Like, none of them have not worked, which I'm sure is true. I'm more concerned about the legalities of selling expired or potentially expired ones, but I'll look into that a little more. So then I have these they're a medical / dental thing. They are like single-use toothbrushes or like suction device cleaning rods. They're multi-purpose, really. And they actually are, I know they, like, the bag looks a little dusty, but they are actually in date. So those I also picked up at a garage sale for like, they might have been $1 a bag. So they sell surprisingly well, but not for a ton. These are a really good example of one of those things that I was like, I know some things in this category are worth money. There's always like a giant bin of old pantyhose, and I am not standing here comping all of them. I did do, like, again, a Google lens to try to get a vague idea because they were 99 cents a piece. And I was like, I will probably be able to make a little money on them. So I'm picking them up. But again, pantyhose, that's another of those categories. Another one is sewing patterns. I know some vintage sewing patterns go for a lot of money. Both of those categories are ones where I would very, very much appreciate any guidance that you might have to offer. I had also picked up these and this at Goodwill. Again, really wanting to get into like lotions and potions. And I am typically leery of especially larger bottles of things that can spill, but this is fully sealed, like vacuum sealed. I figured that was a good one to start with to just try. This Dose's pillow, I bought a couple of these and did not like them. So I already sold the one that I never opened. And then this one, I literally just took out of the package and like laid on once and tried in all different positions. And I was like, this isn't going to work great for me. So I'm going to sell the used one too, just for a little bit less. I just haven't managed to list it yet. Yeah, that was my very, very exciting video of mostly me trying to open plastic bags. That's the stuff that I, with like very little knowledge and relatively little effort, have picked up on the real cheap to try and resell. And yeah, please let me know just how horribly I'm doing. But like with books, in particular books, bath and body stuff, vintage like pantyhose and sewing patterns, and vintage fabric. Those are the categories I've encountered so far where I'm like, I know that there's money to be made in here. And it's all just kind of cool. Like some of it's just cool stuff. Sometimes it's just cool to me that there is money to be made. So it's stuff I like want to engage with, but I have a ton to learn. The books, I love books, and I just would love to. I always want to engage with books in almost literally any additional way other than reading them. But I like, there are steep learning curves there. So any guidance that you have, any really good YouTubers you can point me to, would be much appreciated. And if you are on a similar journey, also please comment down below. Let's cheer each other on and like share little tips that we learn along the way. I'm sorry, I can't talk. Apparently I am really tired, but yeah, let's share about hard goods and cosmetics and bath and body resale. Okay. Thanks for watching. Bye.